In the world of gardening, there's a group of crops out there that can regenerate and regrow from just a part of themselves, making growing them so much easier and efficient. Multiplying new plants from scraps is the ultimate form of organic recycling that us growers can do. And let me tell you, it's easier than it looks. But as easy as it is, not all plants can do it. And like all of our other crops grown from seeds or starters, timing is still key for a successful harvest. Today, I got 8 plants that you can easily resprout and regrow, saving you time, money, and a whole lot of effort. Should be a good one. When you really think about it, all plants technically regrow from themselves. It's the end of the season here, and yes, of course the seeds within this Roma tomato are going to sprout and regrow new tomato plants. But that's not what we're talking about here today. Those seeds are not a genetic copy, a clone if you will, of the main mother plant. They are a completely new life form that has to be germinated, cultivated, cared for, and grown up through an entirely new life cycle. What we're talking about here is regrowing or resprouting new identical clones from either leaf, stem, or root material of the main mother plant itself. An exact copy, if you will. And the first of those is potatoes. The world's most popular root crop by weight, potatoes are closely related to tomatoes and peppers, all members of the nightshade family. Unlike their fruiting cousins, however, potatoes are grown for their swollen tubers. And it's these tubers that actually give rise to the next generation of potato plants. No seeds, no starter plants. All new potato crops begin with the humble potato itself. Now, potato sprouting, also known as chitting, occurs pretty much on its own under a wide range of conditions. But it works best in indirect light at temperatures around or just above room temperature. Sprouting sites known as eyes begin to form all over the tubers, with each one containing the ability to become a brand new potato plant. Start yours about 4 to 5 weeks before your intended planting date for the best results. Another root crop similar to potatoes are sweet potatoes. Related in name only, sweet potatoes are a tropical vine in the morning glory family of plants. Much like regular potatoes though, sweet potatoes are regrown from the harvested tubers, this time activated by water. The sprouts, also known as slips, tend to only form at the pointy end of the tuber, with dozens and dozens being produced. In just fresh, clean water, you'll notice that the slips send out roots really fast, at which time they can be planted either in a large container or out into the ground if it's warm enough. Like we said before, keep in mind that these guys are fully tropical, and they're going to need at least 80 to 100 days of warm weather to attain a harvest. Now, as easy as potatoes and sweet potatoes are to get started like this next one is simply the all-time easiest crop to regrow from itself. And that's green onions. Look, even if you've never grown anything in your entire life, you can be successful with green onions. As a member of a large popular group of crops known as alliums, green onions are grown for their long, tasty green stalks. And it's from those stalks that new green onion plants arise almost indefinitely. It's quite amazing, and you can easily do this at home with even grocery store stems. It's simple. Cut your green onions up like you normally would for a salad or sandwich, leaving about an inch of the white rooted end intact. Place them in regular tap water, submerged about halfway in indirect light at room temperature. Within a week or less, the cut stems begin to miraculously regrow, and new white roots begin to form on the bottom. It works pretty much 100% every time, and you can keep the green onions growing just in water, or, for a better harvest, plant them up in some soil. For me, I do like to plant mine up, as they're going to grow bigger and far more nutritious if those roots have access to some good soil. Either way, green onions have to be one of the all-time easiest crops to regrow. This next plant is actually a group of plants. That's right, we're talking herbs. And there's a ton of these guys like this oregano here that can easily be regrown from themselves. Cuttings are the name of the game here, and all you need to get started, much like the green onions, is a jar of clean water and a windowsill. Not all herbs can do it, but the ones that can, do it extremely well. Basil, mint, oregano, and thyme are by far the easiest ones to do. But even a woody perennial like rosemary can be regrown from a simple stem cutting. Fresh water, indirect light, and room temperatures or slightly above are gonna give you the best results. Also, as most herbs grow perfectly fine indoors, regrowing the cuttings is a great way to have fresh produce year-round, even if the weather outside isn't conducive for gardening. This next one can actually regrow itself in two different ways. At number 5, we have our favorite salad green, lettuce. First, cut 1 to 2 inches of that bottom root stub off, stick it in a bowl of clean water without submerging it, and watch it grow. While you'll likely never get a head as large and robust as the original lettuce, you can reharvest a substantial amount of greens this way, all as a free added bonus. The other way, though, is to pick your lettuce more perpetually in what's called the cut and come again method. This one is done while the lettuce is actively growing and seems to work best with the upright varieties such as romaine and even leaf. It simply involves periodically harvesting only the outside older leaves of the plant, leaving the younger ones to keep growing. The crop is going to continue this way all season long, weather permitting, and with just a few plants growing, you can harvest near endless lettuce greens. Pretty cool. Okay, let's head back to our roots, and with that, we got ginger, and this one is a real fun one to grow. Very tropical by nature, getting ginger to regrow from itself is actually pretty easy. But we do need to time it right because ginger needs at least 150 warm summer days to reform and regrow its tubers for another harvest. So I like to get my ginger going at least 2 months before planting time to give it that big head start. First, take your regular store-bought tubers and soak them in a bowl of tap water overnight. Then, using a tray with about 2 inches of damp coconut fiber, plant the medium-sized sections of ginger root in a grid pattern with just a skim coating over top to cover them. Keep them warm and humid, and within about 2 weeks, sometimes less, they'll begin to poke through with new sprouts. It's usually the green shoots that pop up first, so we'll have to wait another week or so the plant can develop its root system. Once they do, these guys can be planted up in a large container, spacing the tubers at least 4 to 6 inches apart. Use a regular organic potting mix and just plant them right at the surface. Full sun, plenty of water, sheltered from the wind, and in another 120 plus days or so, you'll be harvesting tons of free ginger. And let me tell you, fresh ginger is amazing. Another amazing root tuber in the same family as ginger is turmeric. Same thing, a large rhizomatous tropical plant that needs a long time to grow to replace its tubers. Virtually identical procedure that we use to grow ginger, turmeric is more cylindrical in shape, making the grid planting even more uniform. Green shoots pop up first, followed by an extensive root network about a week to 10 days later. Again, heat and moisture is the key, and once the tubers sprout, it's really just a game of patience to get that final harvest. And speaking of that patience, our final crop to regrow from itself is going to require a boatload of it. That's right, we're talking garlic. Upwards of 9 to 10 months to regrow these guys. Even though it's a card-carrying member of the allium family, Unlike its close cousins, onions and leeks, garlic is not grown from seed. Instead, it's regrown from the individual cloves of the previous year's harvest. Normally planted in the fall and overwintered in the ground, these guys are the first to sprout in the spring when that raises on to bulb up for the midsummer harvest. Because it's such a long crop spanning all 4 seasons, garlic sometimes throws people a bit of a curveball. It's really not a difficult one to grow, but there's some pretty specific rules if you want to be successful with it. So, if you're really keen on regrowing some of your own garlic at home, check out the video in the top right corner for a complete tutorial. There's no doubt that buying fresh produce at the store is getting more and more expensive every day, and growing our own food at home is one way to mitigate these costs. Taking it a step further and regrowing new crops from just the scraps of the old ones is the ultimate in frugality. But economics aside, it's also fun, sometimes faster, and often it's the best way to grow these kind of crops. Hey, best of luck on your regrowing, guys, and I'll see you soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate the support more than you know. And if you're getting value from these videos, please like and share them to spread the word and help your fellow gardener to grow better.